Hi everyone. So now we have finally reached to a very important topic. Although even the earlier videos also had all the important topics itself, but this is something which will now give us a different direction towards studying the Constitution of India. And what we are going to study today is the preamble to the Constitution of India. Okay. So firstly, let's understand how does the preamble of the Constitution of India reads like. Okay, I won't say look like because this is not the exact picture of course, but how does it read like? What is preamble and all of that हम थोड़े देर में करेंगे. ठीक है. Firstly, let's read this. What does this say? So that you make a sense of what it is all about. It reads like, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India. So we are together, like let's say, taking a resolve that we will constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 keywords here is what you have to remember. And to secure to all its citizens. And we will also strive together to secure to all our citizens. Secure what? Secure justice, secure liberty, secure equality, secure fraternity. Justice of what kind? Social justice, economic justice, political justice. Liberty, that is freedom. Freedom of what? Thought, expression, belief, faith, worship. Equality, status and of opportunity. And to promote among them all fraternity, which is brotherhood, togetherness. And you don't have to worry if you don't understand anything right now, because the whole entire discussion in this chapter is going to be the same thing, that will take each of the keyword to discuss the significance in detail. So don't worry about it. Fraternity or brotherhood, assuring the dignity of the individual, that we do ensure the dignity of that individual also, and at the same time we focus on the unity and integrity of the nation also. And where do we do this? We do this in our constituent assembly, because yahi thi framing body, this 26th day of November 1949, because adoption तो इसी दिन हो गया था. Enforcement happened in January 1950, 26 January 1950, but adoption already had happened on 26th of November 1949. Therefore, so we adopt this, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. Therefore, if you are asked about the date, when was the constitution adopted or enacted, then you will give the date 26th day of November 1949, that is 26 November 1949. If they ask you when it was enforced, लागू कब से किया गया, then it will be 26th of January 1950. You know the reason all about पूर्ण स्वराज. ठीक है, हमने बात करी हुई है, but हम दोबारा भी करेंगे. Okay. Now in this preamble, that was just a reading of it. This is the core text that we have read. Now let's see in this also what are the things that help you to understand. For example, the keyword that you are reading here, that people of India, it signifies that you now know the source of authority for our constitution. And what is the source of authority? The people of India. Then you have these keywords like sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. They give you the nature of Indian state, that what kind of an Indian state they wanted to constitute. Then the keywords like justice, liberty, equality and fraternity, they give you the objectives. Okay? Objectives, that this is what we want to achieve. Okay? Then you have fourth important detail here, which is your date, which is the date of adoption, 26th November 1949. So firstly you will remember these points. Then now if you ask about like what is this preamble, होता क्या है, अभी तो हमने समझ लिया that what information we have got from the preamble. What is this preamble all about? So preamble can be considered as a kind of an introduction or a preface to something. Let's say you're reading a book, so you do have a preface, priorly written page, and therein you understand about the constituent of the whole book, that what you can expect out of that book. So kind of an introduction or a preface to something is called as preamble. So introduction to, let's say, the Constitution of India, the whole essence of the constitution, the summary or the essence would be summarized in this smaller preamble. The first constitution in the world which used a preamble was of United States of America. We borrowed this from, the idea of the preamble we borrowed from there, and then we had the same in Constitution of India. It is also called as Identity Card of Constitution, okay, because it gives idea about the Constitution by N.A. Palkhiwala. These are all the factual points that you have to remember about the Constitution of India. It is based on the objectives resolution, This we have already covered while we were discussing about the Constituent Assembly and making of the Constitution topic. ये मैंने पहले पढ़ाया हुआ है. So objective resolution which was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru. If they ask you a question जो कि आया हुआ है prelims में, ठीक है, a couple of years ago, which we'll discuss when we discuss PYQs. So they have asked you about the part, whether it is a part of the Constitution or not. So yes, it is a part of the Constitution. It was said in by Supreme Court in Keshwananda Bharati case, and then further re-emphasized in LIC case also. Another is to be remembered that it was enacted by the Constituent Assembly in the end. End means once the entire constitution was enacted first, and then in the end they enacted the preamble. This is a source of power to, this is not a source of power to legislature, neither this is a prohibition upon the powers of legislature. No. Which means preamble definitely is a part of the constitution. That is okay. But it does not give any power to the legislature, or neither it restricts any power of the legislature. And it is non-justiciable. You cannot go to the court to ask that preamble में ये चीज़ें लिखी हैं, it is not being followed. Justiciable हमारे पास in the constitution only one aspect or one part, that is fundamental rights. Only that is justiciable. ठीक है. Let's say if you talk about fundamental duties or DPSPs or preamble, they are non-justiciable. You will not be able to go directly to the Supreme Court to ask about it. What about the amendability? Can it be amended? So in the Keshwananda Bharati case, we have got this basic structure doctrine, ठीक है, जो आपको मैंने brief करा था judiciary में, but we'll also have a separate chapter on it, wherein it was decided by the Supreme Court that definitely the parliament has the power to amend the constitution, but except the basic features of the constitution. So under article 368 preamble can be amended, however basic features आप नहीं amend कर सकते. And if till date you ask how many times the preamble has been amended, it has been amended only once. 42nd Amendment Act में के through the preamble was amended, which introduced 3 new words in the preamble: socialist, secular and integrity. Now you look at this preamble again. So here that you are seeing sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. तो हमने क्या बोला कि socialist और secular, these 2 words were not present in the original constitution. Original constitution only mentioned it as a sovereign democratic republic. These 2 words got added by 42nd Amendment Act. Similarly, here when we talk about assuring the dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the nation, so earlier it was only unity of the nation. The term integrity, that the states cannot divide themselves, like, you know, they cannot, they do not have the right to secede from the union. So that also got added by 42nd Amendment Act. So these are all the prelims factual pointers that you have to remember from the topic of preamble. Let's now see the details. Many of the points here will be repeated for the smaller details that we have covered, but now you know, several point you will come across as a new feature here. I've tried to summarize this whole chapter into, you know, this one sheet that you are seeing. Of course it will look very very minute to you, so you don't have to worry. I'll be zooming in and you will be seeing all the details. Let's start with the first thing. ठीक है, background. अभी most of the thing as I've just told will be a kind of revision, so we'll just quickly browse through it. First was US. Preamble is introduction or preface. It contains essence or summary. N.A. Palkhiwala said that it is identity card of constitution. It is based on objective resolution, which was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru, and it is amended by 42nd Constitution Amendment Act once, which added 3 words: socialist, secular and integrity. ठीक है, so this is what you know. Next is text of the preamble in the present form. How does it like read like today? So we the people of India, etc., and give to ourselves this constitution. This we have done. Next is what are the ingredients or the components of the preamble. This is also I have shown you that source of authority is people. Nature of Indian state is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Objective is justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and date of adoption is November 26, 1949. ठीक है, ये भी करा दिया. अब हमें जो नया करना है, that is about the 9 keywords that we get in the preamble. What are the 9 keywords? 5 from the nature and 4 from the objective. ठीक है, all of these keywords. तो इसको डिटेल में हमें समझना है. Let's see. When we say sovereign, what is meant by telling that India is a sovereign country? Now India is neither a dependency, ठीक है, डिपेंडेंसी मतलब अब इंडिया कॉलोनी तो है नहीं ब्रिटेन की या किसी की भी, नॉर अ डोमिनियन ऑफ एनी अदर नेशन, ठीक है, हम किसी भी सेंस में किसी के अंडर भी नहीं है, किसी पे डिपेंड भी नहीं हो रहे हैं, वी आर एन इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट, वी आर सोवरेन because we do not have any authority above it, and we are free to conduct our internal affairs also and external affairs also. Earlier when we were under the control of the British, when we were either a colony or a dominion, I'll explain you the difference here, okay, don't worry. So we had the authority, some external matters में especially या कुछ internal matters में you had to take the permission, but now there is no authority above you, we are the supreme power for ourselves. So now till the passage of Indian Independence Act 1947, जो फाइनली जिसने पावर ग्रांट करा कि अब पाकिस्तान और इंडिया दो अलग अलग डोमिनियन होंगे, so till the passage of this act, India was a colony which is dependency of the British Empire, that you study that in modern Indian history. From 15th of August to 1947, we became independent on this day, but we became republic on this day, 26 January 1950, when our constitution was finally enforced, ठीक है, नॉट अडॉप्टेड तो नवंबर में था, बट फाइनली इन्फोर्स्ड, लागू यहाँ से हुआ. दैट इज़ वाई वी सेलिब्रेट January 26 एज रिपब्लिक डे, राइट? वी बिकेम अ रिपब्लिक, आर हेड गॉट इलेक्टेड बाय, मतलब फ्रॉम हियर वी हैड दिस क्लैरिटी दैट नाउ आर हेड विल बी इलेक्टेड बाय द पीपल, ठीक है, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली, दैट इज़ अ डिफरेंट थिंग. So during this time, from independence, like between independence till Republic Day, India was a dominion in the British Commonwealth of Nations. So we were independent, but still we were kind of, you can say, to some extent under them. But बिल्कुल ही सब कुछ हमारे अंदर आ गया जब हम रिपब्लिक हो गए. Then on 26 January, what happened? India ceased to be a British dominion because India declared herself as a sovereign republic. क्यों, कैसे डिक्लेयर करा? क्योंकि हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इन्फोर्स हो गया, एंड आर प्रीएम्बल क्लियरली स्टेट्स दीज टू वर्ड्स, एंड दीज टू वर प्रेजेंट इन द ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो उसी समय से हमारा डिक्लेरेशन हो गया. इफ़ यू आस्क अबाउट पाकिस्तान, सो ऑफकोर्स पाकिस्तान का भी इंडिपेंडेंस तो ठीक है हमारा जो है वो साथ में रहा, बट इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट डोमिनियन, दे वर द ब्रिटिश डोमिनियन टिल 1956. हम 50 में ही ख़त्म हो गए थे, बट 56 तक पाकिस्तान वॉज द डोमिनियन. Now if you ask about this Commonwealth of Nations, so you still know about the Commonwealth of Nations exist करता है, और it is basically comprising of the countries which were earlier used to be the British colonies, ठीक है, तो उसका इन्होंने ग्रुप जो बनाया हुआ था. So of course initially we were a member, but then ऐसा नहीं है that India withdrew itself from the membership. No, in 1949 India declared that we continue our full membership to Commonwealth of Nation, ठीक है. So we will accept the British crown as the head of the Commonwealth, ठीक है. So that is why they were called as Dominion earlier, that they were accepting the British crown as the head of not only Commonwealth but for us also. But now India declared in 1949 that we will accept the British crown as the head of the Commonwealth, but it will not affect India's sovereignty in any way. Even if we are member of the Commonwealth, you cannot claim that our sovereignty will be taken by you, ठीक है. सो ये चीज़ आपको याद रखनी है. जवाहरलाल नेहरू का आर्ग्यूमेंट था दैट दिस अग्रीमेंट टू कंटिन्यू द फुल मेंबरशिप, इट इज़ बाय फ्री विल, ठीक है, मतलब ये हमने अग्रीमेंट फ्री विल में करा है, एंड वी कैन टर्मिनेट इट बाय फ्री विल ऑल्सो. देयर हैज़ टू बी नो इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ एनी अदर अथॉरिटी विच विल डिक्टेट अस और डिसाइड ऑन आवर बिहाफ कि हमको क्या करना है. ओके, देन you also know that India की जो membership, India became a member of the United Nations organization since almost its inception in 1945. India की जो membership रही है, still that did not put any limitation on the sovereignty. So we are a member of Commonwealth, we are a member of UN, but that doesn't put any limitation on our sovereignty. And what is the key idea of being a sovereign country? That India can either acquire a foreign territory, ये बाहर से कोई territory acquire कर सकती है, या अपनी किसी territory को किसी फॉरेन स्टेट को दे भी सकती है. इट कैन सीड अ पार्ट ऑफ इट्स टेरिटरी इन फेवर ऑफ अ फॉरेन स्टेट. इट कैन गिव अवे अ पार्ट ऑफ इट्स टेरिटरी इन फेवर ऑफ द फॉरेन स्टेट बिकॉज इट इज़ अ सोवरेन कंट्री, ठीक है. सो दीज आर द डिटेल्स अबाउट द की वर्ड सोवरेनिटी. आराम से गो थ्रू. आई हैव बोरोड एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम लक्ष्मीकांत, सो यू हैव अ चैप्टर इन लक्ष्मीकांत ऑन द टॉपिक ऑफ प्रियम्बल ऑफ इंडिया, वहीं से सब कुछ लिया है, आप वहाँ से पढ़ लो, यहाँ से पढ़ लो, ईदर वे यू आर कंफर्टेबल विथ। नेक्स्ट कीवर्ड दैट विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल इज योर socialist, ठीक है, that India is a socialist country. So firstly we know that this keyword was not in the original constitution, so it was added by 42nd Constitution Amendment Act 1976, but the keyword got added later, but the essence of the keyword or the meaning of the keyword was still there. We already had the socialist content in the preamble, or let's say the constitution, not preamble only but constitution as a whole, only the keyword got added later. So how you can say that we had the presence of socialist content? For example, we had the DPSPs, Directive Principles of State Policy. Now when we will discuss the topic in detail, you will see that this has 3 parts, ठीक है. One is your socialist part, another is your Gandhian part, another is your liberal intellectual part. So the socialist part talks about, you know, those socialist content. So we already had this. It was just clearly, explicitly not mentioned. That is the only difference. Then also the Congress party adopted a resolution to establish a socialistic pattern of society, कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने भी एक रेजोल्यूशन पास किया था कि वो लोग एक सोशलिस्टिक पैटर्न जो है वो अडॉप्ट करना चाहते हैं अपने कांग्रेस सेशन में, अवधि सेशन ऑफ 1955. तो वहाँ से भी ये चीज़ आइडिया थी कि हम उस तरफ ही बढ़ रहे हैं. अच्छा, बट वॉट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर इज दैट इंडिया फॉलोज डेमोक्रेटिक एस्पेक्ट ऑफ सोशलिज्म एंड नॉट कम्युनिस्टिक या स्टेट सोशलिज्म, which means that, see, what happens in basic difference between socialism and capitalism is what, that in capitalism the ownership will be lying with the private players, and in socialism it will lie with the state, ठीक है, government, if you say so. But if there is a communistic or state kind of a socialism, there will be nationalization of all means of production and distribution, and there will be complete abolition of private property, which means state socialism में सब कुछ सिर्फ और सिर्फ state के हाथ में होगा, private का कोई existence ही नहीं है. But in India we do not do that, right? We do have a mixed system. We do have the existence of the private players also. So we follow the democratic aspect of socialism. And what is this democratic socialism? It has its faith in the mixed economy, where I just said you that we will have both the existence of the private and the public sectors. Public means government sectors. So they will coexist. They will exist side by side. So because Indira Gandhi had given a statement that we will do the nationalization means things will go under the control of government. So we will do nationalization of sectors whenever we will feel necessary. But ठीक है, इन्होंने mixed economy, Jawaharlal Nehru favored the mixed economy aspect. Also, Supreme Court has said this in some judgment about system, that democratic socialism aims to end poverty, ignorance, disease and inequality of opportunity. Although Indian socialism is also a blend of Marxism and Gandhism. On this also a prelims question was there a couple of years ago. So despite of that, Indian socialism is a blend of Marxism and Gandhism. We lean heavily towards Gandhian socialism, ठीक है. कुछ फीचर्स मिक्स भी हैं, बट अगर हम अगेन द सेम थिंग, फेडरल फीचर्स विथ यूनिटरी बायस और समथिंग लाइक दैट. एंड दो when in later phase, this 1991 LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms, this you will study in detail in your economy. So when this happened, some kind of a socialist credential was diluted, because of course we had privatization also now focused on that. So some credentials were diluted, but overall still we have the mixed economy being prevalent, and we have the existence of both private and the public sectors. Next keyword is your secular. So it was also added by 42nd Amendment Act, we have seen. But again, ऐसा भी नहीं है that before that the constitution makers did not want to have a secular government. Definitely not. They still, even before that, we wanted to have. It's just that the word was not mentioned. ठीक है. And for example, if you say so, like articles 25 to 28, which gives the fundamental right of freedom to religion, they are all of the secular nature. Also, Indian constitution embodies positive concept of secularism. Now see, there are certain chapters in NCERT standard 11th. For example, liberty. For example, secularism. For example, your equality. ठीक है, democracy तो as a government I have already dealt in detail. Then for example, social justice. These are some of the keywords on which there are separate chapters given in your class 11th NCERT political theory. So what I'll also do is that now that you are introduced to the basics of these keywords, what those textbooks gives in detail about those keywords, हम पहले उसको ख़त्म करेंगे before we go for the articles of the constitution, so that everything is linked with each other. So we will have a separate chapter in detail on secularism based on the NCERT content of standard 11th in the further classes. ठीक है, so don't worry about it. The Indian constitution embodies a very positive concept of secularism. What this positive means, we are not telling it is right or wrong. What we are telling is a positive, which means which has no connotation of you would say, you know, things getting away from each other, or let's say negative interference. Here what we have is that all religions, irrespective of their strength, so they are a minority or majority or whatever, we will have the same status and support from the state, which means state will not be irreligious or anti-religious. Irreligious मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि state को कोई religion से problem है या फिर anti हो जाए, बिल्कुल उसके against हो जाए. No, it will give equal freedom to all religions. State will not favor one special religion. State will not have its own religion. The people present in the state individually might have their own religious alignment, but the state here means government. ठीक है, just a part of it. You know the basic differences now. So the nation state will not have any official religion of its own, and it will give equal freedom to all the religions. Now, on the basis of how a state has its attitude towards religion, we have different types of states. One kind is atheistic state, which is anti-religion, okay, which will just condemn all religion, not believing in religion as an idea as whole. One will be pro-religion, that is a theocratic state, ठीक है, जहाँ पे एक पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन को ही स्टेट का भी रिलीजन माना जाता है. एग्जाम्पल बांग्लादेश, श्रीलंका, बर्मा, पाकिस्तान, एक्सेट्रा. And then you will have a secular state which will take a neutral stand in the religious matter, and they will not take any particular not make or take any particular religion as a state religion, like US or India. Next keyword is your democracy. Now you already know about democracy, so we will just quickly revise it. Okay, this is just going to be a revision for you. Democracy, the word democratic is derived from the word democracy. Greek words demos, people, kratia, rule. So it is basically about rule of the people, like doctrine of popular sovereignty, that people will possess the supreme power. Preamble में इसको हमने बहुत जगह यूज़ करा है. Political democracy, social, economic democracy. Social democracy में you see the union of trinity of principles. Trinity means three principles existing together: liberty, equality, and fraternity. Then you also know about the two types of democracy: direct democracy and indirect democracy. So direct में there is direct exercise of supreme power by people. Example Switzerland. There are 4 devices: referendum, initiative, recall, and plebiscite. Please check the lecture, a separate chapter on democracy. I have uploaded a separate session so that you understand all of this in greater detail. Indirect में people will exercise power through their representatives. ठीक है. Then within the elected representative democracy also you will have two kinds: parliamentary and presidential, which you have just done in the like the lecture before this and uske pehle wala, federal ke pehle wala. So you know what kind of a system exists in India. We have representative parliamentary democracy. We have a democracy, we have a parliamentary kind of a democracy, and usme bhi we have a representative democracy, and executives are responsible to the legislature for all the policies and the actions. Also, how do you say that Indian system manifests the democratic character or shows the democratic character? So for example, we have the provisions like universal adult franchise, that 18 या 18 से ऊपर के सारे लोगों को हम वोटिंग अधिकार दे रहे हैं. Then periodic elections, rule of law, independence of judiciary, discrimination को हम absence रखते हैं on certain grounds. ठीक है, ये सब you will study in fundamental rights. So this is how we manifest democracy, democratic character. Next keyword is your republic. Republic में you know that the head is going to be elected. ठीक है, ये सभी कराया हुआ है आपका टाइप्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में. सो यू नो दैट देयर आर 2 कैटेगरीज ऑफ अ डेमोक्रेटिक पॉलिटी. वन मोनार्की, जहाँ पे हेड ऑफ द स्टेट, द किंग और द क्वीन, विल होल्ड द हेरिडेटरी पोजिशन एंड दे विल कम इन टू ऑफिस थ्रू सक्सेशन. ठीक है, वन आफ्टर द अदर. दैट इज योर ब्रिटेन. रिपब्लिक में द हेड ऑफ द स्टेट इज ऑलवेज इलेक्टेड डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली फॉर अ फिक्स्ड पीरियड. यूएस, इंडिया. ठीक है, सो इंडिया में वी हैव एन इलेक्टेड हेड, दैट इज प्रेसिडेंट, who is indirectly elected for a period of 5 years. Apart from the basic idea that the head has to be elected in the case of republic, you also have to see some other implications of the term republic. What are the examples? First, that republic also means that political sovereignty vests in people. मतलब political sovereignty लोगों में होती है and it is not lying with a single individual, that is a king, क्योंकि लोग ही choose कर रहे हैं directly या indirectly. Second, that we have absence of any privileged class because we are opening all the public offices to every citizen without any discrimination. Okay. Next keyword is your justice. So in the preamble, you see 3 forms of justice, right? Social, economic, and political. And how these justice forms are secured? Through fundamental rights and directive principles of state policies. What is meant by social justice? That you are giving equal treatment to all citizens and you are not discriminating on the basis of caste, color, race, religion, sex, etc. And of course, absence of privilege, not being given to any particular section. And even if needed, we will have the methods to improve the conditions of backward classes, SC, ST, OBCs and also women. Basically, society को uplift करने के लिए. Economic justice, so we will not discriminate between people on the basis of economic factors. So we'll try to eliminate the inequalities in wealth, income and property, although of course that is not 100% perfectly applicable, that can happen in a country, but at least minimizing that difference. And if you combine the aspects of socio and economic justice, that is called as distributive justice, that we are distributing the justice. Then political justice, so all citizens should have equal political rights, okay, like equal access to all political office, equal voice in governance, vote ka right, okay, that is political justice. And all of these kind of justice, the idea has been borrowed from Russian Revolution 1917 में जो हुआ. Next is your liberty. Liberty signifies 2 major things, ठीक है, again the PYQ में ये आया हुआ है. It signifies 2 major things here. First, there has to be absence of restraints on individual activities. Individual की जो activity है उस पर हम restraint नहीं अगर लगाते हैं, कोई रुकावट नहीं डालते हैं, the absence of those restraints is called as liberty. And also on the other hand, we do provide opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, they are secured through fundamental rights. These are the keywords given in the preamble. So if you talk about the liberty which the preamble or the rights give you, you have to ensure that they are not absolute in nature, which means you are not having the liberty which will curb the liberty of others. So they are qualified, which means there has to be certain limitations, which you have to adhere to while using these liberty which are given in the constitution, and you just cannot do any random thing that you like. The idea of liberty, equality, fraternity has been borrowed from the French Revolution. Next keyword is your equality. Now, equality as a concept signifies that there is absence of special privilege, ठीक है, to any section of society. हम special privilege नहीं देंगे किसी section of society को, and will also provide adequate opportunities for all the individuals without discrimination. There has to be equality of status also and opportunity also, जो यहाँ लिखा हुआ है. 3 dimensions of equality covered here are civic, political and economic. Civil या civic equality will of course be ensured by the fundamental rights. For example, these are the articles जो आप पढ़ोगे right to equality में, ठीक है. तो इसकी डिटेल हम तब करेंगे जब हम फंडामेंटल राइट्स करेंगे, जहाँ लॉ के लिए डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, अपॉर्चुनिटी, अनटचेबिलिटी टाइटल्स, इन सब पे बात होती है. सो बेसिकली दीज आर द फंडामेंटल राइट्स रिलेटेड टू द फ्रीडम ऑफ इक्वालिटी, राइट टू इक्वालिटी. Then political में mainly 2 articles, like one of course it will be about voting. So no person is to be declared ineligible for inclusion in the electoral roll. Electoral roll मतलब voting list, ठीक है, कि religion, race, caste या sex के basis पे आप किसी को voting list में include या exclude नहीं कर सकते. And also another is that the elections to the Lok Sabha and State Assembly will happen on the basis of adult suffrage. कोई भी adult है उसको allowed है, वो contest भी कर सकता है, वो vote भी दे सकता है. Economic equality is given in DPSP 939, Article 39, which secures to men and women both the equal right. ठीक है, हम यहाँ gender के basis पे नहीं divide करेंगे. So men and women both will get equal right to adequate means of livelihood and also equal pay for equal work. Next keyword here is your fraternity. फ्रेटर्निटी मीन्स सेंस ऑफ ब्रदरहुड, ठीक है, जो हमने देखा दैट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन प्रमोट्स दिस. हाउ डज इट डू दैट? ऑफकोर्स प्रियम्बल में वर्ड है, लेकिन हाउ डज इट इंश्योर? बिकॉज वी हैव द आइडिया ऑफ सिंगल सिटीजनशिप, तभी तो ब्रदरहुड है ना, टुगेदरनेस है. नहीं तो सब तो डिवाइड हो जाते ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ टेलिंग देमसेल्व्स एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ देयर ओन स्टेट. And also Article 51A, which is a duty, fundamental duty, it says that it is the duty of every citizen of India to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood among all people of India. And why do we need to have fraternity? Because it has to assure the dignity of the individual and also unity and integrity of the nation. And you know that keyword was added by 42nd Amendment Act. Now when you say dignity of the individual, what does this mean? That constitution will not only ensure the material betterment, which means in the case of, let's say, finances and all of that, and it will not only maintain a democratic setup, so economically, politically to karna hi hai, but it will also recognize that the personality of every individual is sacred. You have to value every individual. You will not distinguish or differentiate between them. And this kind of an idea is highlighted through some provisions of rights, DPSP, and also fundamental duty, जहाँ हम dignity of women की भी बात करते हैं. and fundamental duty में भी एक चीज़ साफ साफ लिखी हुई है that it is the duty of every citizen to renounce the practices derogatory to dignity of women. Any practices which is derogatory to women's dignity, you have to renounce it. आपको उसको discard करना है. Then unity and integrity of the nation. This phase will embrace the psychological and territorial dimensions. Unity, क्योंकि psychologically you have to be united, and integrity in the sense of territory, that you cannot secede your territory and उसको आप divide करके अलग नहीं कर सकते. So fundamental duty, again, it is every citizen's duty to uphold and protect sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. This we have already done in the previous video on federation, that Article 1 says that India is a union of states and they have no right to secede from the union. So we have an indestructible union. Also, this whole idea aims at overcoming the hindrances to national integration. ठीक है, अब जैसे कम्युनलिज्म हो गया, रीजनलिज्म, कास्टिज्म, लिंग्विज्म, सेशनिज्म की अलग होना है, ठीक है, सेसेशनिज्म, all of these things are kind of the traits which or the phenomena which acts as an hindrance कि national integration में वो बाधा डाल सकते हैं. तो इन सब को overcome करने के लिए what is the idea that we use? The idea of fraternity or brotherhood or togetherness. So these are the 9 keywords that you had to deal with. Now before I talk about this, let's see this, that preamble is a part of constitution. So I have given you the summary of it, that yes, it is a part of constitution. Now this is the whole timeline of how the things happened. So there was this case, Berubari Union case, 1960 में, जहाँ Supreme Court ने बोला that despite of preamble being a key to the kind of mind of constitution makers, that it is helping them, it is giving them the purpose, and there are help taken by the judiciary also in interpretation. All of these is okay, but still they said that preamble is not a part in this case. ठीक है. बट देन 73 में जो केशवानंद भारती केस हुआ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने इस पुराने ओपिनियन को दे रिजेक्टेड इट एंड दे सेड दैट इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ठीक है, एंड इट शुड बी रेड एंड इंटरप्रेटेड इन लाइट ऑफ ग्रैंड एंड नोबल विजन विच इज़ एक्सप्रेस्ड इन प्रियम्बल. देन 1995 LIC केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला दैट प्रियम्बल इज़ डेफिनेटली एन इंटीग्रल पार्ट. तो यहाँ पे उन्होंने सिर्फ बोला दैट इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, बट एन इंटीग्रल पार्ट इन्होंने बोला LIC केस में. ऑल्सो this we have talked that it was enacted in the end after the whole constitution was enacted. Reason, so that we ensure its conformity with constitution. मतलब पहले पूरा constitution कर लिया ना, उसकी summary को end में करा ताकि हम कह सकते हैं कि yes, the preamble is in consonance with the provisions of the constitution. So if you have to give the current status about the preamble, so Supreme Court ने साफ साफ बोला है that yes, it is a part of constitution. It is in consonance with the opinion of the founding fathers also, but it will not be a source of power to legislature. It will also not prohibit the powers of legislature, and it is not justiciable. So these provisions will not be enforceable in court of law. You will not go to the court of law to ask कि ये provision नहीं apply हो रहे हैं. ठीक है. Next is about the amendability. So this also you have seen कि हाँ amend कर सकते हैं. But the first time this question was raised was in the Keshwananda Bharti case, और वहाँ पे ये बोला गया that preamble cannot be amended because it is not a part of, क्योंकि till 1973 it was considered that it is not a part of constitution. So, and something which is not a part of constitution, how can it be amended? That question got raised in this case. तो फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इस केस में ही डिक्लेयर कर दिया कि नो, इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड देयरफॉर इट कैन बी अमेंडेड ऑल्सो, बट यू विल नॉट अमेंड द बेसिक फीचर्स ऑफ इट. एंड बाई फार वंस इट हैज़ बीन अमेंडेड, जो कि 3 कीवर्ड्स को ऐड किया गया है. ठीक है, दीज 2 आर द रिविजन सेक्शंस फॉर यू. Lastly, we'll just see the significance of the preamble. You never know if they ask you to write some note on it in the mains paper also. So, quickly seeing the significance, it embodies the basic philosophy and fundamental values जिस पे constitution based है, like political, moral and religious philosophy. It also contains the noble and grand vision of the Constituent Assembly because it reflects the dreams and aspirations of the founding fathers. A member, Sir Alladi Krishna Swamy Iyer, has said that preamble to our constitution expresses what we had thought or dreamt so long. The same thing, expressing the ideas of the constitution makers. A drafting committee member, K.M. Munshi, said that it is the horoscope of our sovereign democratic republic. क्योंकि बाकी keywords तो बाद में add हुए थे. Horoscope means it is kind of giving you a future of how it should look like. Another member, Pandit Thakur Das Bhargava, said that it is most precious part. It is the key to constitution. It is the soul of constitution. It is a jewel set in the constitution. And it is a proper yardstick. एक parameter है जिससे हम measure कर सकते हैं कि how and what is the worth of our constitution. Sir Ernest Barker, the English political scientist, said that it is a keystone, like the pillar to the constitution, and it quoted the preamble at opening of his book also. He has written this book, Principles of Social and Political Theory, जहाँ उन्होंने हमारे preamble को quote करा. The former CJI, ठीक है, चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, M. हिदायतुल्ला, उन्होंने भी ये बात बोली that preamble resembles the declaration of independence of USA. मतलब क्योंकि US से ही relate करता हुआ था, but it only resembles. But it is more than a declaration. हम सिर्फ ये declare नहीं कर रहे हैं that now we are an independent country. No, it is the soul of our constitution because it lays down the pattern of our political society. Like what is the nature of the country that we want to have, what is the objective that we wish to achieve, all of that. And it contains a solemn resolve. That is what is written in the preamble, the beginning, like we the people of India having solemnly resolved to. So solemn resolve, like हम promise कर रहे हैं, resolve ले रहे हैं, पक्का बात है जो हम बोल रहे हैं, which nothing but a revolution can alter. So this is not something which can easily be altered or modified or changed by any random person or group. No. अगर कुछ बहुत major revolution हुआ तभी कुछ change आएगा, otherwise this is what it will continue to happen. So this is where I end the whole discussion on the preamble. So you have seen the background, text, ingredient or the components, then the details of the keywords, which is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Then significance understood, is it a part or not understood, and it can be amended or not or understood. ठीक है, so this is how the preamble is just summarized in the whole context. Now in the next set of videos we'll deal with the next topics. Thank you so much. Till then, take care. Bye bye.